So, I guess first of all, what is it like being back out on the road?
It's really fun. I mean, it's kind of, it's like invigorating again to get to get on the road again and like to just see the country and it's exciting again, which is fun. And especially when I've been home for a while and which I love too, it's great to be able to see my friends consistently and sleep in my own bed and all that stuff. But it feels like it's time to be out traveling again. So I'm really excited.
Very cool. And do you have like a favorite thing when you're on the road, especially like on long drives? Is there like a favorite snack when you like stop somewhere, or like something that like you just look forward to when you get to be in a car?
Well, okay, so there's a couple different things. I love ice cream. So I'm probably going to have ice cream once a day. And, if typically like there's regionally there's like places that I like will seek out, and I love frozen custard, which that's kind of a Midwestern thing. So out west you won't get that, but out here I will get coffee bean and tea leaf, and they have this ice blended vanilla ice blended, but I get the ultimate, which is like with the chocolate covered espresso beans like blended into it, and those things are amazing. I already had one today. It's incredible. So that's a total that's a no-brainer. But today, like driving from Nashville to here, there's just not a lot of like great food options. As you can imagine, there's not a lot of options period for anything. So when like for lunch we're going to Whole Foods and we were just going to eat like kale and celery. We just needed something that was fresh and healthy, and so we did that. And then we went to Trader Joe's and got some trail mix for the road and stuff.
Those are like my two like I lived in both. I spent 3 hours at Whole Foods today just doing work because I couldn't sit at home and focus.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and just sit there. Or like the other day when we were driving back, I was like, we need to stop at Whole Foods first so I can get snacks for the road trip back. And I got like, have you had the chocolate covered kale chips?
No.
They're so good.
That sounds amazing.
They're so good.
That sounds awesome.
They're delicious. But so I know what you mean about like Whole Foods.
Yeah. You're trying to like, because when you're driving for a long time, just out of boredom, you'll just start snacking. And so if you can have some healthy snack options around, it's better, So almonds and, just that kind of thing.
Well, and too, like when you're on the road, it's strenuous on your body, and so you need to be able to get the good stuff so that you don't get sick.
Yes. Yeah, and then exercise is super important too. Like today we were able to, go exercise, which is great. And trying to keep as much of like, that stuff like in place, that kind of discipline stuff in place when you're traveling is great because it, just keeps you invigorated and on your game,
That's the side people don't realize happens on the road.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They assume it's all like fun and games and partying, but it's not.
It's not.
So I guess you released a new album.
Mm-hmm.
What, about a month ago now?
Actually, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay. It just feels like it's been a month.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got like an 80s feel to it,
Yeah.
which is really fun. So what was it like recording that, and how did the idea kind of start for it to have that kind of a
that
theme?
feel? Well, we recorded over the course of a year, pretty much, and it was kind of we kind of like came in and out of the studio, so we might be working on it for like a couple days and then not working on it for a week, and it was just like this kind of back and forth thing, which I've done before, and in the middle of it, it's frustrating because you're just like, oh, let's just, but at the end of the deal, it's like, it's nice because you've had plenty of time to like sit with things and really make sure it's how you want it, and there's one situation in particular with a song called Love by You that like we thought that it, there was a version of it that was completed, like we had mixed it and we thought that was it, and then I was just feeling like it was lacking some of the oomph that it needed, and so we went back and like added electric guitars. It didn't have a single electric guitar on it, and when we went back and did that, it just like brought it to life. It did exactly what it needed to happen, and because we didn't have like a strict deadline on it, we were able to do that. If you're trying to like get it done in a month or something, sometimes that stuff can, you don't have the luxury of doing that. So there's probably honestly a happy medium between like a year and a month, like 6 months or 3 months, but for us it was a year. And the idea came for the sound from kind of just the music that I was listening to while I was writing the album, and the writing process probably started maybe 6 months to a year before we started recording, and then even like went into the time when we started recording. So we didn't necessarily have like, there were some songs that were written after the recording started, and so then also like even hearing some of those like sounds show up on new records. Like there's a Keith Urban song that has a really great like this chorus guitar thing on called Georgia Woods, I think. It's on his last record, and it's got this really clean chorus electric guitar, and it's just awesome. It's like like he's doing it, and then even like there's a band called Green River Ordinance, some friends of mine, and they had that same guitar sound on one of their songs on their last record, and I was just like, man, and that just kind of drew me back to the records where that was like very prevalent. That kind of guitar sound was very prevalent on, and that was like, late 80s, early 90s singer-songwriter records, and like Richard Marx and Kenny Loggins and Bryan Adams and stuff like that. So that really was, all those things kind of together helped inform the sound of the record.
Very cool. Speaking of Green River Ordinance, because I've talked to them a few times, but like you and them and Ben Rector and a few other people on Twitter have some of the best like back and forth conversations.
Really?
There's been a few times where I've been scrolling through and I'll see like conversations between like a couple of you, and it's just like the funniest.
That's great. I kind of forget that that's like public, which is probably.
That's what makes it so good, though.
Yeah, that's what makes it good. Yeah, that's hysterical. Twitter was like, took me a while to really like embrace, because I'm like, wait a second, so you mean like everybody has like full access to me all the time? And my buddy's like, yeah, man, it's great. I'm like, that sounds awful. Like I can't even deal with like the people who like know me well, like being able to like text me like and ask me stuff all the time. I'm like, I just get overwhelmed with like, being constantly available, So I just learn when to like
turn it
focus on it, and then when to put it aside. And I've actually really enjoyed it, doing that.
Yeah, so. It can be fun. Like I'll do the same thing. Like I'll use it like for a while, and then I'll stop and like almost forget about it for like a month or like a couple weeks, and then I'll realize like I haven't said anything in a while, and I'm like, I should probably do something.
Yeah.
But it can be. It's like it's good. It's fun to read some stuff sometimes, because there's some funny people.
Oh yeah, my buddy Dave Barnes, Dave Barnes? He's hysterical, and he's like constantly doing like tweeting funny stuff. And I'm funny, but I'm not that funny on Twitter, like it's hard to like, I'm just not thinking of stuff all the time, and there are people who like literally are so good at that. And
then it's like you'll think of something, but it's like, how do I narrow it to 140 characters?
I know, yeah. You start editing everything, like, okay, what's a good caption for this picture? Like what? Sometimes the photo can like not be funny, and the caption can be like the punchline, Or even like the location, you can like put in a custom location. It's like, and that can be funny, And I don't know, you just have to be engaged all the time to be thinking that stuff. And I've tried to be a little bit more on it recently, just as the record's been out, and just wanting to make sure that people know about it and know that I haven't gone away, and it's just, there's just always new stuff coming out, and it's hard to just stay in people's like stay on people's brains. You know,
For
you
sure.
got to be consistent, and I haven't been super consistent with social media, so I'm gonna try to do better.
Well, you're on tour now. You have plenty of time to
Totally.
play around a bit.
I know, there's so much time.
I think, honestly, though, like, Instagram has been more of my favorite thing lately.
It's amazing.
But, like, you can, I feel like Instagram, you can post anything, and, like, people will either follow you or they won't, but you can kind of, like, do whatever you want.
Right.
And, like, I don't know, I take way too many pictures, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And then having to decide what filter to use is, like, the biggest
It's creative,
challenge.
and yeah, it's a great thing. And people, honestly, like, anymore, people really don't want to, like, Facebook is so, like, there's so much to navigate. I mean,
I know.
Instagram is, like, doing exactly what, you know, people probably started doing anyway, which is, like, flipping through people's pictures on Facebook. It's like
Exactly.
just creating a really easy way to do that. It's an easy way to stalk people, you know? It's like, hey.
Look where they were the other day.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I guess, what, like, do you have, like, a favorite thing to take pictures of? Because some people do have, like, their favorite.
It's funny because, like, it's hard to not have like count affect what you take pictures of.
Oh, it totally does.
I mean, but like early on, I was like, I'm gonna just do Instagram to be like artsy and creative, and like I'm gonna take pictures of landscapes and like, you know, whatever. And I realized like nobody wants that. Like what my fans want on Instagram is like a picture of me doing something stupid, you know. And if I can, or like looking dumb, if I can give them that, then like people like it. So I'm trying to like not just do that because that would be ridiculous too. But I don't know. I'm even thinking like, okay, what do I need to Instagram from this place? You know, like, is it how awesome the green room is? Is it like the view from the stage or something? You know, but I've also, you know, been trying to like, I've started doing these little like flyers that just announce like the next few shows, and I've had like a lot of fun doing those because I like, you know, Photoshop and design stuff. So I'll post those on Instagram, and I don't know, just whatever. You know.
I found food is very popular.
It's very popular. Have you seen that video? Like, look at this Instagram. Mm-hmm. There's a spoof to the tune of "Photograph" by what's No, it's a much dumber band. What's the band that everybody makes fun of? Nickelback. It's to that tune, but it's all about Instagram, and they're spoofing and they're making fun of all the things that people take pictures of, and they like nail everybody. It's
Mine
like,
is literally food and music. That's like my whole Instagram for the most part.
Yeah, search that on YouTube, like Instagram song. It's hysterical.
We'll watch it when we go to Whole Foods after
There you go.
this,
There you
because we
go.
are going back to Whole
Nice.
Foods for dinner.
That's awesome.
Because there's one like 5 minutes from here.
Cool.
But so I guess when it comes to performing live, do you have a favorite moment about being on stage, or like, you know, is it getting to hear people sing your music back, or is it seeing people get really invested in the music? Or, like, what do you love most about being on stage?
I love hearing people sing back. That's amazing. I think what's kind of nice is like when you realize that people are with you. You know, you're enough songs in to realize like, okay, like people are engaged and they're with you. You know, you're not fighting. You're not fighting to get their attention or whatever. So that's and in this set, there's a moment where it's kind of like we kind of do a couple broken down songs. Like everybody comes to the front of the stage, and that's kind of a moment where I can like breathe, and you know we're not like doing as quick of transitions or whatever, and so it's kind of just a nice like I get to just breather. And I mean anytime where I can just feel like I can look people in the eye in the crowd and just like, you know, just because sometimes it's very easy to just like gloss over and not even like really see like who's there. And so more and more I'm just trying to like be present and just see like who's there, and it's great. So yeah, and then gosh, just hearing people sing back. Hearing people sing back on new songs is probably the best thing ever, because it's so much a validation of like, okay, good. Because every time you write a new record and record it, you're like, you just really hope that like it connects with people, and so when you get that, it's like it's the best. So
there's been so many cool moments, like because when I go and take photos and I'm in the photo pit or whatever, there'll be those times where like at the beginning of the set, I get to hear everyone behind me. So it's like I almost know like what it's like to be on stage and like hear that, but not quite. But there's been times where like I've been taking pictures and I've almost like stopped for a second and turned around and like just like watched what was happening, and like it's the coolest thing to see.
Yeah. Because
there's no way to explain it to someone. It's one of those things that you have to be a part of and like
totally
just like experience, because it's unlike anything.
It is, and there's like a few moments that stand out to me that are like, whoa, you just weren't expecting. Like Boston last year, we were just doing like me and another guy that came, and we were playing acoustic and just singing. So it was like stripped down, kind of unplugged deal, and like the crowd was like super, like it was crazy. They were just like knew every word to every song, and they were like so there, and I was like, this is amazing being this far away from home and this far into my career, like, because I've been doing this for like 12 years, and for there to still be like, 300 people, 400 people in Boston that are like singing along to every word is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then the moments where like the really like quiet, stripped down parts where people get really quiet or things like that, and you just like, you can feel that respect happening.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's special because it doesn't always happen like that.
Right. It doesn't. That's awesome.
Those are like my favorite parts to experience as like a concert goer. So I guess what after this tour is kind of in the plans for you? Because this tour is just starting out.
Right. We'll be doing this basically through the end of November. So like Thanksgiving, up until Thanksgiving, and then I'll have December off. I'll probably do at least one Christmas show. And I think I'd just like to build, a tradition in Nashville, like doing a Christmas show. Because I put out a Christmas record a couple years ago that I really love and would like to have an opportunity, excuse to play the songs, And then I think come the new year, we'll probably like, go and hit some of the markets that we weren't able to hit on this tour. Mm-hmm. And then maybe look to do like a support slot for somebody in the spring. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like prepared to just continue to like support and push this record for a year.
Yeah.
Like, and if that means that I'm on the road for the majority of the year, then that's great. So
very cool. And I mean, obviously there's a huge group of you guys that are in Nashville and stuff that are all friends, and then some people that are scattered kind of around Texas and nearby places. Mm-hmm. So if you could put together like your dream tour and there was like no limit on time and opening spots, because obviously like after 3 people, sometimes it gets a bit much. But
right.
If there wasn't that and you could have almost like a festival or whatever, like who would you build that tour with? I
mean, it'd probably be like, it'd just be a bunch of Nashville people, just people that we just support each other a lot, like Dave Barnes and Ben Rector and Steve Moakler and Andrew Ripp and Drew Holcomb and like Andy Davis and Andrew Bell. I know I'm leaving my friends in the band Leagues, Thad Cockrell and those guys in Leagues, and I mean, and then I'd have like Tegan and Sarah be there just because.
I saw them last night.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love them. Was it awesome? Were they opening for fun?
Yeah.
I'm seeing that show in Nashville. I'm super excited.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Their new record is amazing. I would just love to be there to see that. I mean, if I could do that, it'd be awesome. Yeah, just like have us all like open for Tegan and Sarah, So yeah, is that a good answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite song to play in the live set?
Man, I don't really. I'm so bad at like favorites and least favorites and best and worst and stuff. Like, I love playing Get to You. Like, Get to You is so fun to play. I mean, I love playing that. I love playing Last Good Girl. That's been really fun from the new record too. As far as like new album stuff's concerned, 519 is always fun to play because that's the one that people like sing the loudest. So that's fun. And Marianne's been fun too. That's one of the ones that we do like broken down, like with a bunch of acoustic guitars, and it just feels kind of like a sing along.
Like campfire style?
Yeah, campfire style. It's really fun. So there's my favorites list. I'm not good. Like I said, I narrowed it down to like 5. But I can't do one.
I had to put together like a list of favorite songs for people, and it ended up being like 40 songs.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Because there's so much good stuff.
Yeah, there is.
Well, and then obviously you have a ton of music, so you get to the point where you have so many things to choose from that like you can't pick.
I know. It's a great problem to have. It's like, but making the sets, like, I just kind of went through iTunes and I'm like, all right, one of my like top 15 favorite, most downloaded songs, like that's the set list. And then if there are some that I'm like, I just want to play that song, then those get added too. But the fun thing is there's a bunch of songs that I still love to play. I mean, there's like a bunch of old songs that I still love to play. I'm thankful for that because, a lot of people are like, I'm so over my old stuff. I'm like, I just want to play what people want to hear. Yeah. So if there's a song that's like a crowd favorite, then it'll be one of my favorites too. I aim to please.
Well, and if they want to hear it, it makes it more enjoyable for them, which then creates the moments that are more enjoyable for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then everyone's happy.
I know. That's what I think. Not everybody thinks that way though.